Hi everybody, it's day 7 of the series to talk to you about getting ready to go out into the outside world after lockdown with confidence. So today we're going to be talking about naturopathic techniques that can support your routes of elimination. So just to recap, we started by explaining about stress and how that affects your immune system, and how your immune system has to be incredibly active, and how it's active at night particularly. And we've covered all sorts of subjects over the last week, haven't we? From nutrition, hydration, sleep, exercise. And now we're going to talk about naturopathic techniques. Now, naturopathic techniques are kind of what I refer to as your first aid kit. So the things that you can do at home to support any toxic buildup in the body. Every day we have processes that happen in our cells, and in order for us to keep up with the byproduct of those processes, they produce toxicity, they produce free radicals, they produce all sorts of things that the body wants to eliminate. And this happens every day quite naturally. It's a part of being human. And the trouble is, as I've explained over the days, we don't always have that optimal elimination going on, because we don't necessarily have the right hydration. Maybe we've been under a prolonged stress, as a lot of people are at the moment, and so the cholesterol ring around the cell has formed a little more, and we're in dehydration alert, and this hypervigilance, fight-flight systems on. So we want to hold on to both nutrients, we want to hold on to everything actually, whatever water we have left in our cells. And so it's very much harder to keep up with eliminating. And so what happens is the body wants to get rid of it still. So we first of all we try putting more water into the cell, and so some people find that they have edema, or holding water in their bodies, and other symptoms can happen, like they might feel like they've got kind of prickly or itchy skin, so you might have, or rashes. Could be that you have other symptoms like maybe headaches, or just that brain chatter could be going on a little bit more, restless sleep, all sorts of other symptoms could give you a little bit of a clue that your routes of elimination are needing a little bit of extra support. Now, what do I mean by routes of elimination? So when we have, let's say, how can you see the cell? Let's say we've got a cell here, and there's nutrients, electrolytes, bringing in nutrients into the cell, and then out of the cell comes the waste products, the toxicity that we need to eliminate. That goes from the cell into the lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system, with every heartbeat, it will then flow into the bloodstream. So that's the next route. So from the cell into the lymphatics, and then into the blood. And then from the blood goes into the liver. And the liver processes more to make that ready to eliminate the toxins. And then it goes from the liver into the bowel, and then from the bowel out of the body. So this should be this natural route from the cell to the bowel and out. And so at any point there could be a need to give support to that route. So it could be that you need to support your bowel with more hydration. It could be that you need to support your liver. You know, and again, sort of symptoms around liver can be that you could be feeling just a little bit more irritable or angry even. It can be very much the liver emotion. It gives you a clue. There's a lot of things that can give us clues, and if you start to listen to your body, you'll start to get a clue. Yeah, maybe I need to have another drink of water to flush things through a little bit more, or maybe I need to do some more movement to move my lymph, because if you give support to the lymph, then obviously that's helping that go into the blood and into the liver and into the bowel and out. So there's a lot of things that we can do naturopathically at home to support this whole route. Yeah, it's like a journey through from the cell to the outside world, as it were, and out of your body. So why is that important? Well, if you imagine with any viruses, pathogens, bacteria that we have, they're much more likely to have to need to be released if there's more toxic load, if you like. So the more toxic load we have, the more we have to support that that elimination. And some people's bowel movements are fantastic. You know, they have a bowel movement after every meal, and that is actually, believe it or not, optimal. Other people probably might be on the other side of the scale, maybe don't have a bowel movement every day or even every few days, and that might be normal for them, but actually is not optimal for the body. And you can imagine it's a little bit like, I always think of it a little bit like drainage. If you've got a block in the pipe somewhere, then that natural elimination can't happen as well as it might do. So you've got this sort of backup in the pipes, and then all sorts of bacteria, and we have a lot of bacteria in our gut, and that's important for producing all sorts of vitamins, our B vitamins, and 70% of our immune system is in our gut bacteria, and we need the good bacteria to be prolific. But say, for example, that balance get out of whack with the bad bacteria that can come through the system, and then you've got a problem, and this sort of fermentation can happen, and then you get a little bit of gas or a lot of gas, and it starts to back up, and then you start to feel that, you know, that it's higher up in the gastrointestinal tract, and you feel uncomfortable, bloating. All sorts of symptoms are going to give you a clue that you're not eliminating as well as you might. So what can we do? So if you think about starting with the lymph, always keep the lymph moving. So you can use a dry skin brush. I don't know if everybody has one, but they're very easy to get hold of. You want to brush your skin on dry, and you start going towards your heart, always towards your heart. So up your legs, up your arms, always towards your heart, and quite vigorous. You want your skin to be a little bit pink, not too, don't hurt yourself, but you know, you really want to pink yourself up. So really move that lymph, and you can do that you know, as often as you need to. You could do it 3 times a week, or you could, you know, if you really need to do more, you can do it every day, in fact. So that's a really fantastic thing to do. And then you can do hot and cold showering. So you move from the hot water through to cold water. And again, a lot of people might go, oh no, that sounds just horrendous and something I couldn't possibly contemplate. But believe you me, if you give it a go, and you will be really, really surprised how you absolutely love it, how your body loves it. And the key to this is not to shock yourself. So what I suggest is going from hot to cool. And you just do 30 seconds, back to the hot, and then to a little bit cooler the second time. And then back to the hot, and then you do a final time back to cool. So 3 times. and you want to end on cool, and each time go a little bit colder. Your body will get used to it, and before long it will say, yes please, I can stay under here for longer. And each time you can stay under for a little bit longer. Maybe give yourself a minute, maybe give yourself a minute and a half. The idea with this is you're opening and closing capillaries. So your skin is your largest organ of elimination, so you are using our skin an awful lot. Sweat through the skin will eliminate a lot as well. So again, sort of getting yourself hot, you know, saunas can be very good like this, but then you want to close your capillaries down, and that's why you would go into the cold plunge pool or any kind of cold water to close down. So that's the premise of this. You want to close your capillaries at the end to seal your skin at the end. Another thing for lymphatics would be to cross march. We mentioned it in the exercise session. So again, let's say right elbow to left knee and backwards and forwards just for a minute. You can rub or tap. I think tapping is really good, just gently tapping across your chest to your lymphatics, your armpits. You can always tap again around your groin area, down your legs, tap everywhere, yeah? Get everything going. You can actually feel it. It starts to really feel like everything's getting going, and you can tap down both your legs and really wake your body up and allow that movement to happen. I think if you tone at the same time, it's really good as well, because we're really releasing. So you can just whatever sound that your body wants to make. So it just can be like that, something like that. And you can even do it at a pulse. So you could do like a waltz. Slow it down. Very nice and restful, getting lots of breath out, lots of elimination. And just noticed there's a couple of lovely good mornings from people. So just to say good morning to you all, that thank you for listening, and hello to all you looking at it on the replay too. So we've looked at lymph. What we can do for the whole skin is we can immerse ourselves in an Epsom salt bath. That's a wonderful way to encourage elimination. Again, you would skin brush first before getting in the bath, so that you open up you take off the outside layer of your skin, as it were, the scurf, the dry, dead skin, and the skin's nice and plump and open. You get in the hot bath with up to 1 kilo of Epsom salts for an adult, and that's a really nice concentration, so that you're putting in a lot of magnesium through, and that drawing out through osmotic processes, drawing out of sodium and with it a lot of toxicity through the skin, again using this largest organ of elimination on the outside of the body. And again, at the end of the bath, you want to finish on cold, so either run out most of the bath water after 20 minutes, 30 minutes lying in the lovely Epsom salt bath, run it out and then run in cold so that you cool down, or just get under the cold shower again. And it's, believe it me, it is lovely. I promise, give it a go, give it a go. Cold water. We mentioned it in terms of closing the capillaries, but it's also a fantastic thing for activating the parasympathetic nervous system and the vagal nerve, which is really important in terms of the stress response and calming everything down in the body. So cold water on the face, and all of the lymphatic areas. So you can just literally fill up a sink with some cold water and just immerse your face in it if you're at home. I'm very fortunate. I do this down in the sea every day, and actually I can just say I can feel my skin is lovely and salty, but it's just really gorgeous temperature at the moment, and I had my face fully immersed for a few seconds this morning. And the back of your head, where the occipital area right at the back, get that nice and cold too. So again, if you're in the shower, make sure that the back of your neck, where the vagal nerve goes, along is nice and cold. So some of you might have heard of Wim Hof. He's a great advocate of cold and also of breathing. And obviously breathing we haven't talked about too much, but I'll just touch on it now. Some of these things are just the fastest of wins, and sometimes we need a fast win. And so cold and breathing in the Wim Hof style is fantastic. It's sort of quite hypoxic, and we want to bring more oxygen into the body. So that sort of, you can look that up on online, Wim Hof. And also, there are lots and lots of other breathing techniques as well, and probably that might be another whole session on its own. So many things, but look it up. And yoga breathing, obviously, is just so calming and long and deep. So if you do nothing else, you could just take 3, if you're feeling stressed at all, at any time, or 2 or 3 times a day, you could just take 2 or 3 minutes just to sit down quietly and just take 3 long deep breaths. So that's belly breathing, so you see your stomach and your lung area, so you could put your hand on your belly and over your chest and just feel that rising with the in-breath. So let's do one together. So breathing in deeply through the nose, and you can breathe out through the mouth or through the nose, depending on how you're feeling. Sometimes to start with, it's good to do one through the mouth and make a big noise. It can be a sigh, it could be a you know, really feel your belly and your lungs deflating, really expel it all, and then 2 more long deep breaths, and that can just reset your body, your whole body, if it's getting itself into a stressed state. So the other thing for that roots of elimination, if the bowel is really stuck, then there is also an enema that you can do. There are many enemas that you can do, different ones for different reasons, but just water enemas are fantastic for getting things going. You know, if you're coming down with a cold, 3 water enemas in succession can almost literally stop it in its tracks. And this is because you're just allowing more toxicity to leave the body, and it gives the brain the message, oh, everything's okay, we can just relax or calm everything down. There's not a need for a huge response in the body, and you can feel so much better so quickly. If you need calming, you can add chamomile tea to the water, or you could add a special enema coffee to the water if you needed more liver support. And we really do need to support the liver in terms of the roots of elimination. So there's a lot of other techniques that you can do as well. There's something called castor oil packing, which again, there are details online of how to do it. Wonderful, using castor oil across the bowel, giving lots and lots of lovely oils, all the full spectrum of light in castor oil, being absorbed through warmth into the bowel and allowing that release and into the liver, and allowing the release through the bowel, and maybe with a need to use an enema to help that along. These sorts of things, if they're all new to you, might sound a bit weird and wacky, and I'm very happy to support anybody on a more one-to-one basis with any of those things. So do get in touch, and do please pass on invitations to anybody who you think might benefit from this. Like I say, naturopathic techniques are, in my view, a great first aid tool to have, and so you know, you don't have to resort to more interventions if you've got these things at your in your home. So give some of them a go. I'd love to hear how you got on if you've tried something new. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about more of the emotional side of stress, and some things that we can do to support that. There's lots and lots of techniques that you can think to use. So again, it's about finding what works for you, but I'll be talking all about that and how important it is that we address that side of stress. Yeah, lots more of that tomorrow. So lovely to see you today. Hope that was helpful, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.